What's up guys, it's MekelKasanova coming at you with yet another banging video, and in this video I'm going to be talking about Xbox and PC exclusive platformer called Super Lucky's Tales, and it's developed by a company called Playful, and I want to give them a big shout out and thank you for sending me a review code so I can review this game. It's something that every time I go into GameStop or Best Buy, I'm always seeing it on the shelf and I want to pick it up just because it's cutesy. You know, I have kids, and this is something I think we really would enjoy. Like, that's the mindset I have when I go in the store. And, you know, I grew up in the 80s and 90s where platformers were king. You had everything from Mario and Sonic to Sparkster to Bubsy to Arrow the Acrobat to Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, you know, the character Arthur from Medieval, and more. That was just the golden age of platformers. It was such an amazing time to be a gamer, to be able to just experience everything that was coming out at that time, because you didn't know. It was before gaming became as mainstream as it is now, and we're so fixated on graphics and performance and realism that in about 6 months to a year or a couple years from now will look outdated and almost probably unplayable. But that's the beauty of platformers. They have the ability to have a long-standing, just enjoyable lifespan that's just amazing. And I'm going to go ahead and review this game and let you guys know what I think of it. So, if you're ready, let's go ahead and roll that intro music.
Generation of great, I'm the next generation of great. I'm the next generation of great, the next generation of great.
For years, there's been a complaint that the platformer genre was all but dead, save for Mario and mediocre Sonic games. Fast forward to the current year, and we get a plethora of platformers, and yet while people wanted the genre to revive, they made fun of every game that has come out that is a platformer, which I personally find to be odd, especially when it comes from journalists and YouTubers. I just really find it odd that they do that. Well, in any case, platformer fans have little reason to complain this year about the lack of platforming games. 2017 has become a renaissance of sorts for the genre, with the release of games like Super Mario Odyssey, Yooka-Laylee, I Had Time. Hey, even a Bubsy made a return. What's better is that it isn't stopping anytime soon with the adorable arrival of Super Lucky's Tale, the follow-up to the VR-exclusive predecessor. Super Lucky's Tale has you hop into the shoes of the cute and charming young fox Lucky across 4 worlds composed of numerous levels. Super Lucky's Tale acts as a sequel, as I said, to the original Lucky's Tale, which was exclusive on the Oculus Rift, but doesn't require you to have played that to enjoy it. Lyra and her brother Lucky are out to save the world from the evil cat Jinx and his litter from getting a book that can rewrite history. Lucky sacrifices himself within the book's pages to save his sister and hopefully the world. Doing so involves taking out a great many enemies successfully, hopping on platforms and finding enough clovers to move on in the adventure. The core action blends platforming with a collectathon reasonably well. And while Super Lucky's Tale's premise is simple, the execution is surprisingly well done. As you journey through the worlds, you'll meet various side characters and villains that never take themselves too seriously, brought to life by snappy and well-written dialogue. The mad scientist and the evil karate kid, in particular, had me laughing hard more than a few times with their self-deprecating humor and endless cat puns. I'm a cat person, so I find it humorous. That same charm is seen visually in each of the 4 worlds you'll visit, from the vegan-friendly world of vegetables to the Halloween Town SQ Spookington. Each area is laced with colorful visuals that are pleasing to the eyes, especially when played on a 4K TV with HDR, or even just a 4K TV or even a 1080p TV. Although it isn't without some technical hiccups though. There are the occasional drops in frame rate during the more intense platforming sections, and almost guaranteed stuttering for a few seconds when a level first loads in. In the end, these problems had little effect on my progress, but it was a continuous annoyance here and there where it did happen. Lucky has a few tools at his disposal to excel in the game. Jumping will serve him well, as will swiping at enemies. Careful timing is key because a hop and bop may actually work better than a swipe. If you have several enemies in rapid succession, you're usually better off jumping on them than attempting to attack one, since one may just hit you right as you're going to attack the other. Hopping allows you to carefully jump on one foe before doing the same to the other. Being an artful dodger can also work well, since it can buy you some time to get a better angle on an attack. Having an enemy in an odd spot means that landing a perfect jump on them is a bit tough, but that can be alleviated by adjusting the camera to a better angle. You know, sometimes the camera does get stuck, and though there's no indicator on that being the case until trying to manually adjust it. A click of the right stick centers it when it's behind your back, but in areas that you would think have an open camera, they don't. You have to just hope to move the left stick properly to compensate for the isometric viewpoint you're stuck in. This viewpoint can lead to some needless deaths and frustration. Super Lucky's Tales provides a lot of fun, and some frustrations. In case in point, if you die and run out of lives, you may wind up having to repeat entire sections, which may not be a huge deal in theory, especially if you're an old school platformer fan, but some of these areas have unskippable cutscenes, adding even more time wasted beyond just having to replay an area. Clear save markers would be nice throughout the world, and even with the game making it easy to re-earn lives upon too many deaths, it still doesn't feel like you should have to replay a long section of a level that you've already trounced due to death. Each of the 4 main worlds have several levels to compete, granting you a 4-leaf clover in the process. Similar to Super Mario Odyssey's Power Moons, finding Super Lucky Tales 4-leaf clovers are your main motivation in the story. Accessing new levels and worlds require you to gain a specific number of them. Almost every level is host to multiple 4-leaf clovers for you to collect, most of which are totally optional. Though all 4 worlds already have a hub world, most levels play out like their own mini hub. There is no timer, so you're free to explore every level for as long as or as little as you want. They each have their own main objective, and Super Lucky's Tale is varied enough so that you are never doing the same thing twice. In one level, you might have to find 3 robot heads to complete a golem so you can advance, while another time you're carrying a heavy object that disables your jump and digging abilities. Though Super Lucky's Tales is very forgiving and created so that anyone can play it, the variation causes you to constantly think outside the box, which is something that I really do love. Even within a single 3D level, you might find a hidden tunnel that leads to a 2D level, with an optional 4-leaf clover to find. And as fun as the 3D platforming is, to me, the 2D levels are even more refined. The side-scrolling viewpoint fixes the camera issues that you run into and allows you to focus solely on the proper jump, hit, and digging gameplay that Super Lucky's Tales does so well. Many of the levels culminate in a boss fight that are just as enjoyable and unique as the preceding level. In fact, Super Lucky's Tale continuously surprised me with every boss fight. For example, one would throw minions in between groovy dance moves that I had launched back at him, while my personal favorite was actually impossible to win. Instead, I could only run from the speedy fire monster while carrying a robot that limited my moves severely. Super Lucky's Tale can be completed in roughly about 4 to 5 hours, but that's only if you skip all of the optional content, which can add on an additional 3 to 4 hours to the main game. Though the main story is short, relatively, there are a seemingly endless amount of collectibles, levels, and wonderful puzzles to complete even after you beat the story. If you are an Xbox One owner that has been starving for a worthwhile 3D platformer, you also have an open mind, you might possibly have kids in the family, or you enjoy a good platformer, then honestly Super Lucky's Tales is for you. The graphics and characters are charming and goofy, while the mix between 2D and 3D levels are varied enough that you will never feel like you're doing the same thing twice. Almost every moment of Super Lucky's Tales allows for the pure joy of platforming when you aren't annoyed by its limited camera. It's worth noting that the main game, as I said earlier, is rather short, but there are enough optional levels, puzzles, and collectibles to complete that will easily double or even triple your time with. In my opinion, Super Lucky's Tale is a go. It gets the Kasanova seal of approval for about $30. You can't go wrong, and it looks just amazing regardless of whether you're on your Xbox One, your One S, your Xbox One X, or even if you're playing it on your PC. The game is gorgeous, it plays well, has a couple hiccups here and there when it comes to the camera, but otherwise it's very enjoyable, very family friendly, and in a day and age where there's so much of a lack, well, not this year in particular, but where there's typically a lack of platformers, this, along with Bubsy, along with Ukulele, and many others, are trying to bring back that good platforming feeling that we had and loved back in the 90s. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And that just about wraps up my review of Super Lucky's Tale. I really enjoyed this game. I think it's truly phenomenal, and I think on the merits of it standing on its own, is this going to be a mascot that's going to stand the test of time? I can't answer that. I'm hopeful that it will be, because I think the era of mascot characters and platformers, we're in a renaissance. Like I said, we're back in a renaissance of them coming back. You know, we had the surprise of Bubsy coming back. We had Ukulele come out, which was made by the team that made Banjo-Kazooie, and you know, I got to play that and I enjoyed it. I'm just happy that games that I kind of grew up on and saw evolve, making a comeback now in this day and age in 2017. And I just think it's phenomenal. I think this is really great, and I'm just very grateful. Playful, thank you guys for sending me the review code to be able to review this amazing game. I mean, even if you hadn't, I was about to go and buy it in the store before you guys reached out to me. So I just want to really thankful. I'm very, very grateful to you guys for that. I think this is an amazing game. For $30, you can't go wrong. If you got kids, if you just are young at heart, or you got an open mind, you don't mind having and playing something that's not set in realism, that I believe that will still look and play great 10 years, 20 years from now. I think this will be something that we can come back to. And I just really enjoyed this game. I hope that enthusiasm comes through in the video, that I really enjoyed it, and I think this is something that you just can't go wrong with. It's a lot of fun, and it looks fantastic in 4K, especially on the Xbox One X. And if you guys want to win a code for this game, I'm going to be doing a giveaway for this game in conjunction. This is a partnership with Playful and myself, MekelKasanova. We're giving away one free copy of the game. So if you guys want, you can check the Gleam link below. It's in the description. And all you got to do is follow the prompts it has. There are a couple rules that you have to follow and things you have to do. Once you feel that out, you'll be entered to win a copy of Super Lucky's Tale. We're going to be giving this away the day before Thanksgiving. So on the 21st, 22nd, I believe, of November 2017 is the day we're going to give away that code, and we're going to announce that. And, that's such, for me, I'm so honored to be able to do something like that, and I look forward to working with Playful Corporation in the future. So that's all I got, guys. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Ding the bell that's in the corner down here. That way you stay up to date on all the latest and greatest technology and news and reviews from myself, MekelKasanova. And I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.
You got the spotlight, girl, you demand all the attention. Starry-eyed, maybe I need a new prescription. I see you on top of me, I'm having visions. While you spin it around, I'm getting dizzy, baby. Drop and roll,